Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Really exciting video today with you guys. I know I just shared my Hermes unboxing very recently. Transparently though, I've been using the bag a lot. So I feel like I can finally give you guys a review as to my thoughts on the bag, whether I think it's worth it, and if you should get it or not. So if you guys are interested in getting the Hermes Herbag Zip 31, stay tuned. Here's a review. If you guys have been watching on my channel, then you'll know that I recently got this bag, and this is actually my very first bag from Hermes, so really excited that I got offered this one. I actually casually went in just to look at bags and see what was available. My essay brought me out this one for the very first time. This is actually also my very first time with this different essay. I've been working with a couple of other ones in the past, but usually those were just to get like accessories here and there. And my friends recently got a new one and we decided to just go try with him. So he got me some really great bag options. A long story short, I was there, he offered me the Evelyn in the medium size in a gold, and I was like fawning over it. But then he also brought me out the Herbag, which is this one, and this is in the Herbag Zip 31 size, and this one has the limited edition Breeze de Gala print on it. They don't often have these, and I felt that, you know what, the Evelyn, it's hard to come across in gold, but I think it'll be offered again eventually down the road, whereas this isn't made as frequently. So if I said no to this one, I probably would not get offered this again. So I figured let's go ahead and get the Herbag. It's my very first one and I'm here to review with you guys. If you haven't already watched my unboxing video, I will link it down in the description box or include it in a tag above here somewhere so you can go check it out. And I go through like my whole story of being offered the bag, choosing between this one and the Evelyn, and just essentially all that jazz. So now it's been a couple months down the road. I've been using the heck out of this bag and I think I can give you pretty much a full-length breakdown review as to my thoughts on it and if it's worth its money. So let's start off a little bit about the brand Hermes. So with all of the recent price increases from the luxury design houses across the board, Hermes, I think, probably is one of the few that have relatively maintained their prices, albeit maybe a couple of $100s here and there of a price increase. Nowhere near close to like Chanel and Dior and Louis Vuitton where they've been raising them by like the hundreds to thousands. This bag has not, I don't think, changed price much recently. Somebody recently asked me on Instagram via DM as to how much I spent on this bag. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was around like $3,100 pre-tax. And they told me that the last time they looked a few years ago, this bag was being priced at around $2,900. So as you can see, it's been a couple of years. Prices have not increased that much. It's been pretty steady when it comes to Hermes. Not everybody gets offered the Herbag, apparently. I got a flurry of DMs asking me who my essay was, which location I went to, how did I get offered this bag, and how long I have been shopping at Hermes for when I posted this in my stories on Instagram. And I think honestly, I just really lucked out because that's the first bag I've ever purchased from Hermes, and the first time I've ever purchased from that essay. Maybe it was just a really good day and he had a lot in stock available, but I got like a really nice, beautiful neutral color and I'm quite happy with it. I get so many compliments about this one all the time, so she's my little prized possession. This is definitely getting me into the zone of like Hermes bag addictions though, and I will share a little bit more about this bag and why I love it so much and why I think I actually want another one. So if you guys are not familiar, this is the Herbag. It is a coated canvas on the bottom. I believe this is cow leather, I think, on the top. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it's actually two types of materials. On the side, there is palladium hardware, and the really interesting thing about this bag, this is a new style that just got released in like the mid-2000s, is that there is a zip pocket on the back. Previously, old renditions of this bag did not have this extra pouch. It was just a flat back here. And I guess a lot of people were complaining about the closure and how difficult it was to get in and out of it, that they installed a pouch in the new styles. The Herbag was actually discontinued for a while and they just recently brought it back about like 10 years or so, maybe a little bit less than 10 years or so, with that zip pouch. I have it in the 31 size. There is a slightly larger size than mine and I have seen photos of it online and I don't love that size. I think it's a little bit too big. So if I was to get another one, I would definitely stick with the 31. Love it. Very cute, super practical. Mine is actually like this really light color called sable. This is not gold. Gold is that like unicorn traditional brown color from Hermes that everybody loves and wants to get their hands on. There's actually a huge range of color browns when it comes to Hermes, and I recently learned after viewing them in person that each shade is different depending on the leather that it is dyed. Gold in say Togo leather could look very different if it's a gold in Epsom leather. So definitely go online and do your research and make sure that depending on which leather you want, gold is still the same and bright shade of brown, that's up your alley. This one is sable or sable in French. I actually really like it. It's a very soft, butterscotchy, kind of creamy brown. Kind of reminds me of milk tea. I like that. And the color runs down onto the Brise de Gala print on the front here too. The bag itself is really well made. It's super sturdy. The canvas is like really, really thick. It's the same canvas on the inside as it is the outside. There is no lining on the interior of this bag. And it's just like a giant hole in here. This bag actually comes with a little pouch that's attached on the side. You can take this off if you wanted to. I just leave the pouch in here so that I don't lose it. I don't really like to take my pieces apart when I buy them, just because I risk the chance of losing little pieces here and there if I take a pouch out and then leave it in a box and I forget about it. So I just always leave it in here anyways. It's tucked in. I don't really use it that much. Funny enough, I actually don't even use the back component, even though this was integrated to be a little bit more functional. I'll just give you more details as to how I hold this bag. So this bag, I believe, retails at around like $3,100-ish or so after tax. In Canada, which is 13%, I think it comes up to like around $3,400, $3,500. When it comes to Hermes, you can't really just walk in and ask for whatever bag you want. If they have it in stock, they could possibly give it to you. You could ask your SA and get on a wish list and they'll contact you when the bag comes in, or you can just walk in and ask them what kind of bags they have and they'll just whip out whatever's available in inventory. As we know with the game, when it comes to Hermes, what you see on the shelves is not necessarily always what they have available in stock, and they can't sell you the bags off of the shelves because those are display ones only. This actually wasn't even available on the shelf. My SA just offered it to me and I essentially lucked out. So I'm going to talk about the construction of this bag first off. It's actually really, really sturdy, and this bag I believe is meant to like take a lot. This bag's actually designed for you to be able to take it apart and to put it back together. The sides here, the palladium hardware, you can actually unscrew it, take it off. All this leather up here can actually be removed. So you can take the flap off, you can take the handles, the shoulder strap, and take it all off. If you have a secondary airbag, you can slip a different base and attach this leather part onto the top, which is actually the really fun part about these airbags, and I didn't really know about that until I read more into it. If you have multiple airbags, you can mix and match the bodies with the tops. I think that is so fun, and it kind of gives you more versatility of the bag. You can get a lot more wear out of it and not have to carry the same one all the time, which I think if this is the very first bag you get, it's a great one because you can get more bags out of it down the road as you collect more and more airbags. So the material is super sturdy. This canvas is very thick. The leather is also really, really firm as well. This leather is so firm that if you don't maneuver it, it's not gonna give. I actually fasten my bag like this. This is the cul-de-sac closure up here. It's kind of annoying. A lot of people really hate getting in and out of it, which is why they installed this back flap here. I just kind of like pop it in, and then I carry my bag like this around with me everywhere it goes. So it's kind of like perma open, but not really open. It's difficult to put your hand in here to find anything to get if you can't really see inside, and it kind of like clicks on the top of this, so it just stays open like this anytime I wear it. I know it's not like the cleanest look, but I just find that it's the easiest for me to get in and out of. If I really want it to be extra secure, then I press down the sides here. I just push these leather flaps in and crisscross it across the front, and this just makes it a little bit more secure so that people have like a harder time getting into the bag. That's kind of how it looks like. I don't personally ever really fold the flap over because I find that that's a lot of work. If you do want it to be fully closed and to have that like complete sealed look, you can, but it's kind of a headache to open and close it all the time, and I'm somebody who constantly reaches in and out of my bag to get stuff. This is generally a larger bag than what I've been used to carrying for the past couple of years. Micro bags have been really trendy. Bags are now slowly getting like larger and larger as the size towards like really large oversized tote bags are getting more popular again. I've kind of developed a habit of throwing almost anything and everything into here. I literally throw my wrist splint in. I've thrown water bottles in here. I've thrown Harrison's like burp cloths, milk bottles, and all that jazz. So I do need this bag to be relatively easily accessible when I'm using it, which is why I don't really put the flap down. It's actually straightened and become really firm on its own. So when I do try to flatten it and put it on, it's quite hard. I think I might have to, well, the next time I put this bag back into storage and switch to another bag, I'm gonna have to put it in properly to kind of soften the leather and make sure it can still fold down like this, or else I will never be able to do that again. So overall, quality materials, really, really phenomenal. The palladium hardware, nice and sturdy as well. Funny enough, I think there is some stickers on here that I just haven't peeled off. You can't really tell, and I don't want to scratch, so shh. you see me, you don't know that there's still stickers on my hardware here. Going inside the bag, we're talking about versatility now that we've kind of touched base on it a little bit in the construction. It's a huge, just giant hole here. There's no compartments inside here besides that little pocket that it comes with. I actually got a Samorga organizer, which is quite easy to take in and out of this bag since it's just like a giant bag. And it just rests inside like this. Like I said, it's just a giant hole. There's no compartments or lining or anything. And I was genuinely really worried that I would stain the canvas, which is why I got a Samorga insert so that I could put it into here and not only keep everything organized since there are slots here to organize things, but to keep the shape of the bag because it is kind of flimsy, it's canvas, also to prevent any staining or damage to it. If you guys are interested in getting Samorga organizer, I believe I have a 20% code from them that you can use. It's in the description box down below. I get nothing out of it. It's just for the benefit of you guys, but just letting you know. I have been loving Samorga organizer. It helps me keep a lot of things in here. Like I said, it's like a giant hole, so I do need to have everything compartmentalized so it doesn't get lost inside the bag. I can fit a lot. Right now I have like my wallet, a mirror, hand cream, 2 hand creams, hand sanitizer, 3 lip product, the lock and the cloche, a hair elastic, and headphones. I think that's essentially it. I don't usually carry that much. That's what I carry on my day-to-day, and oh yeah, probably a set of keys and my mask in here too. There's still a lot of space, as you can see though. So versatility of getting in and out of the bag, because it is a giant hole, things will roll around. I do recommend getting an organizer, but it is a great tote. It holds a lot, so you're not gonna ever really run out of space for stuff in here. And then opening and closing with the clou de sel, if you just close it like this and just leave it clasped on, the gravity of it kind of pushes it down at the top of the lock and it just stays there. It won't pop open on its own, and it's not big enough when it's open for anybody to really stick their hands in to grab from you. So I feel personally quite secure with this. If you do want to close it even more, like I said, you can use these 2 leather straps in the front here, or you can completely close it with this. Completely closing it makes it actually quite difficult to get in and out of the bag because there's so many components to like opening and closing and unbuckling that it's kind of a hassle. Most people that I've seen don't genuinely really ever carry this bag fully closed unless you're somebody who carries a lot of stuff in your pockets and you're comfortable just putting everything on the back zip pocket here. I don't, just because I don't want this to like bulge out and kind of stretch as I'm using it, so I don't actually ever really use this pocket that much. To be very honest, I know it's supposed to be a pocket of convenience, but I just don't use it, so it's kind of inconvenient for me. It's more convenient for me to keep the bag like this. Color. I love this brown. I don't know if this came in any other colors. I've only ever seen it in Sable online as well. I did some research into this bag. It also astounds me how much this bag is currently reselling for. I think it's reselling for like 6,500 USD, which is insane. If you're interested in buying it, sorry, I'm not selling it. I'm keeping this bag. It is absolutely stunning. But the resale value on these are like ridiculous. Also why I'm more inclined to buy Hermes bags as opposed to Chanel and Dior right now, just because Hermes bags are really holding their value. I know Chanel bags do hold their value as well, but it's just the cost of them doesn't reflect well on the value and they're insanely expensive. They do make the claim that there's not a lot of inventory in stock, which is what's driving up the cost of the bags. Honestly, guys, I hear people getting bags that they want from Chanel like all the time without having to wait for years like they do at Hermes. So Chanel is just seriously pricing themselves like way out of the stratosphere right now, which is why I think it's a little bit more like reasonable to pay for an Hermes bag, because I mean this felt like a steal compared to my 19, which was like very pricey. Now talking about how you can wear this bag, I already mentioned that you can mix and match the bases with the tops to get a bunch of different styles, which is really fun. I think that gives you a lot more looks out of the bag if you're trying to style up different outfits and you want different colors. You can actually also customize how you hold this bag too. So if this flap was down, there is a top handle here which you can carry by your hands. In the summer, if you're not wearing a bulky jacket, you can put it through your arm and carry it in the crook of your elbow quite comfortably. I cannot for the life of me do this in the winter when my jackets are thick. It has to be summer exclusive only. This bag also happens to come with a crossbody strap as well. It has quite a long drop. I've actually worn this crossbody quite a few times and just off my shoulder. I like that the interior of this strap is a suede. It's not a finished leather on both sides. That's smooth because this gives it a little bit of grip and friction. So if you're wearing it on your clothes, it doesn't just kind of slide off, whereas the leather on the back here is really smooth. And if you were to have this on your clothes, it would just slide off really easily. This helps to kind of like keep the bag on your shoulder. I mentioned versatility. You can actually take off the strap if you were to undo the palladium hardware in the sides, just unscrew it and remove this from the center to only have a top handle bag, and it gives you definitely that really Kelly look, to the point where people have actually nicknamed the Herbag the Kelly Jr. So if you're trying to get an Hermes Kelly but you're not able to, you can get an Herbag and create a similar look, because once it's closed, it has a very similar closing mechanism and it's actually quite cute. So this is satisfying my realm of desire for a Kelly, because I would love to get a Kelly. It's just so hard to get a hold of one. So this is like introductory to a Kelly right now, and I'll be very happy if I collect a couple more of these Herbags. They're quite gorgeous. The bag, as always, does come with a lock. You can clip the lock onto the back here. I actually haven't clipped the lock anywhere. It's inside of my bag. I saw some reviews online that said that a lot of people who clip the lock to the back here, which is where you store it when you're not using it, ended up causing indentations on the base of the leather here. And it actually has a very fond nickname by Hermes enthusiasts, and it's called like the smiley face dent or something like that, because as it rocks back and forth, it creates like a little crescent shape and it ends up looking like a little smiley face, which is quite cute. But I didn't want to damage the bag, so I've actually just left it inside here in the Samorga organizer, and it's just in the little pouch. So when you buy the bag, it comes with this little pouch for you to house your lock and keys. The lock looks like this. It's palladium hardware. You can attach it to the back. I haven't attached it anywhere just because I don't want it to get scratched or to damage the bag, so I just actually leave it inside of the bag. And then on the other end are the keys to the lock. So this is the whole locking mechanism, and I just store this inside of the bag. So back in here it goes, and then back straight into the bag it goes as well. Like I said, I don't separate my things. I keep them all together. That way I don't lose them. So this is going to stay inside of the bag in the purse organizer. And yeah, that's it for my bag. Weight wise, it's not that heavy of a bag. It does have some weight to it because of all the hardware on it, but you do get used to that after a while, because since it is a larger bag, you start stuffing a lot of stuff into it and it just gets a little bit more weighty than your other bags you typically use. But like I said, it's really easy to get used to, and then after a while it doesn't feel super heavy. I know once I revert back to any of my smaller bags, it's going to feel insanely light compared to this one, but in the meantime I actually don't mind it that much. I know a lot of people love getting twillies to wrap on their handles, and not only is that like a really fun, self-expressive way of just personalizing your bag, I think it's really cute. I have this blue one on here that I have wrapped on, and this was the twilly that I bought a while ago that I wanted to use for my Do Your Book tote. Ended up not working out. And I'm actually very happy because it gives this bag a little bit of personality. A lot of people actually also use these twillies to protect their handles, because as you use this bag, you can get a lot of wear and tear from your hands and the oils from your body as you constantly grip it. It may change the color of the leather, it may stain it, it may make it a little bit softer, more moist. So over time, it will warp the leather a little bit, which is why you will often see people attach twillies to their handbag handles when they're buying a bag from Hermes. Because if you're paying that much for a bag, you want to take good care of it. So I have purchased a twilly. It wasn't originally for this bag. It just came in really handy and matches the bag on its own. I do think that I would definitely collect more twillies now that I have an Hermes handbag, and I do think it'd be really fun to kind of like swap it out depending on the season to get different colors. I don't really wear a lot of ribbons in my hair. Every once in a while I do, so I think at the moment most of these twillies will go towards the handbag handle protection. All in all, do I like the bag? I think in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to luxury designers, it is an expensive bag, I will admit that, but it's quite affordable compared to a lot of the bags from houses such as Dior, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, YSL. Many of those bags are already running the gamut of $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and if this bag is $3,000 from a brand like Hermes, which has been around for ages and constantly time over time prove the quality of the craftsmanship and of the material, whereas a lot of these other companies are outsourcing and getting cheaper over time the quality, I think you're getting a really good value for what you're paying for when it comes to these bags. Like, these will last you a really, really long time. Do I think it's within everybody's price range? Not necessarily. If you want to stay on the more affordable end of companies such as like Prada and YSL and get bags closer to like the $2,000 price range, then yes, this is definitely going to be pricing you out of that because it is a whole $1,000 more. But if you're willing to spend money on bags that are like a Dior, which are like a Lady Dior that's like $6,000, the book tote's already like $4,100, a Chanel bag is almost like $8,000, then I think that this is a great spend of money and it's gonna last you a really long time. So you're not really losing a lot of money. And like I said, Hermes bags are investments. So if you do decide down the road to change your mind, they hold their values really well. And like I said, this one is currently being sold online right now for like $6,500, which blows my mind. That's like double how much I paid for this bag. So I'm just really happy I found this one and I scooped it up when I did. So I personally think it's a great investment if you're looking to add bags to your collection that are going to give you more of an investment value as opposed to just purely buying bags for the sake of like buying them and using them. Don't get me wrong, I do use this bag a lot. I've carried it everywhere with me for the past couple of months and used it to death. It's been super functional. It's also really understated. There's not like crazy logos everywhere. If you recognize this bag and you know Hermes, then you will know the Herbag. I also find that not a lot of people recognize the front print too, unless I tell them it's the Breeds to Gala limited edition print, just because the Herbag comes in its own regular just like canvas and leather without any sort of print on the front as well, which is usually what more people are used to. It's a little bit more nondescript. People aren't familiar with it. I personally find that I don't get targeted by stares a lot when I go out. I don't know, when I'm out and about shopping in Toronto with these bags, on Bloor, everybody has a designer bag anyway, so it doesn't feel too weird, but there definitely are some sketchier areas of Toronto that I wouldn't personally feel comfortable walking out with like my Chanel or Dior bags. Whereas if I was to wear this bag, I don't think that a lot of people are familiar with the silhouette and the design enough to really target me for like theft or anything. So verdict on this bag, I am beyond obsessed. I love how functional it is, how large it is, how fun it is to be able to swap out the tops and the bases with different other Herbags. Love that with Hermes you can add all these twillies too. I'd love to also get a rodeo just to have like a little dangly keychain. I think it'd be really cute to add to this one. Do I recommend it? Yes. I think if you're trying to start with Hermes and to get your first bag, this is a really great one to introduce yourself into the brand. It's on the fairly affordable spectrum when you're thinking of Hermes bags, because the Birkins and Kellys are like tens of thousands of dollars, and this is closer to the lower end. It's a really great bag though, design wise and quality materials. Just because it's cheaper doesn't mean that they've skimped out on the materials and the craftsmanship, and Hermes is really well known for the craftsmanship and quality of their bags. So if you want to be introduced to the brand and you want to start off by collecting some of the more like affordable pieces, then an Herbag is definitely right up your alley. I 100% will be looking forward to collecting a couple more of them. I think I do want to get one in black so I can kind of interchange. Oh, I also forgot to mention the shape of this bag. So this is the retorn style, which means the stitching is done on the inside, like the seams here. So you guys see this brown piping here on the top. There is no piping on the edge here where it is stitched. It is actually stitched on the inside, and it gives the bag a much more relaxed, very like slouchy, kind of like plushy look. From what I've heard, you can actually rotate this bag, flip it inside out. If you look carefully on the inside, there's also brown stitching on the edges, and apparently if you flip it inside out, it gives it a much more clean cut, really kind of like rigid, strict look, which is called the Cellier style, which just means the stitching is exposed on the outside. So I haven't personally done that to my bag yet. I actually haven't even taken this bag apart yet. I want to, just to play with it and to try, but I'm just worried it's gonna get stuck and I'm not gonna like how it looks, because I have heard that the canvas is a little tricky to flip inside out. It's quite firm. But yes, I did want to mention that you can also have two looks to this bag. Even if you don't have multiple bases of Herbags to kind of like flip back and forth, you can just invert the inside and go from the retorn style to the Cellier style. This one was sold as the retorn style because the limited edition print is on the outside, but you can flip it to the inside and get the Cellier style if you prefer instead, which is my dream bag when it comes to the Hermes Kelly. Huge fan of this bag. I think this is a great investment piece for anybody who wants to start off with Hermes. It is so functional. It's such a perfect size for use for every single day. Obviously, it's not like a nighttime like date bag because it is quite large. If you want to use it as an office bag, you probably can. I can comfortably fit my 11-inch iPad in here. I haven't tried putting in a 13-inch laptop into here yet because I don't really use a laptop. If I need to do anything, it's usually on my iPad, but it does fit very comfortably in here. And I love that there's like a top handle and a crossbody strap for you to be able to wear it, so they can kind of like play with the placement of the bag and how you hold it and wear it all the time. At the end of the day, do I recommend this bag? Yes. Definitely get your hands on one. If you do get offer one, I think they're great. And yeah, I couldn't say more good things about this bag. It's absolutely phenomenal. So I'm very happy with this purchase. I don't regret it at all. There's definitely many bags in my collection where I'm kind of like, hesitant. Do I actually like it? And other bags where I'm like, wow, I do regret that purchase. But this one, definitely one of my favorite ones to date. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found this review helpful, especially if you are interested in getting the Herbag for yourself and you're curious as to whether or not it's worth the value and if the quality of the materials kind of like stack up to Hermes's reputation. Let me know if you have any other questions about this bag down below in the comments. I would be more than happy to answer them. I'm gonna try my best to try to find one that's available online and link it in the description box if you do want to purchase it. On their website, they get a couple of Herbags every once in a while, but they do sell out like extremely quickly, so you're gonna have to check quite frequently to go back and make sure you can secure yourself one. It's one of the bags that they do sell online, but because people love it and it looks like a Kelly, they get snapped up really quickly like that. So I can't guarantee I can find this exact one online, but I'll try to see if I can find a secondary like reseller for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for coming back and watching today. As always, if you guys want to see more of me, you know where you can find me on Instagram and on TikTok. I'm always posting on both of those two platforms, a little bit more frequently than YouTube. If you guys haven't already subscribed to me here on YouTube, make sure you do. That way you're notified every single time I post a brand new video. You do not want to miss out on them. I appreciate every single one of you coming here and watching my videos and supporting me and growing this little family that we have here on YouTube. It's been a wild ride the past couple of years, but it's been so much fun kind of like connecting with you guys and sharing a little bit more tidbits of my life. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I will see you in the next video. I love you so much. Bye.